Hey, this is Chris Goff, and in this video, I wanted to share just a glimpse of a call with a coaching student where we talk about daily routines, we talk about marketing and how consistent you should be, along with a lot of other tips and strategies, so I can't wait to share this with you. Also, if you learned something in this video, please click that like and subscribe. It's going to help us continue to put out more training videos just like this. And if you're interested in learning how you can work with me one-on-one, please visit my website. You'll see it here as well as the description. All right, let's jump into the call. What's happening?
Good morning.
How'd this past week go?
Good. My main thing is my daily routine. I got to just change my whole routine, basically. I got to build different habits for my day.
Hey, that's a good thing, right?
Well, I guess I recognize it at the end of the day and look to tomorrow what I can do different, what I can do better, and just do more productive money-making activities, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the key, is trying to figure out, what do I do? Number one, so many people, it's like, well, I get it. I got to go drive for dollars. Hey, yeah, but what's the routine? What's that like?
Exactly.
You
And I was really surprised. I've done, like you showed me.
Mhm.
I was really surprised at all the absentee owners and the vacants once they combined, how it just shrunk that list down. And I was expecting to get more, but I think it was a little over 200. And I was expecting to get a lot more, which I kind of figured they was going to be the most motivated, have the most, motivation. But I was looking at your schedule thing and it said, between 500 and 5,000, which I like to do a minimum of 500,
You're going to have a lot of the vacants where the tax assessor still shows the billing address.
Mm-hmm.
They still live there. So from our point of view, it's either did they do a change of address? So when we hit that absentee owner
Mm-hmm.
checkbox, it's going to eliminate every single vacant property that has a tax bill that goes to the same property.
Right.
So that list is just getting smaller and smaller. And especially with vacants, a lot of people, they just take off.
Yeah.
They don't let anybody know what's going on. They don't even think to call them to do a change of address. And if they only get billed once a year, they don't even worry about it for another year.
And that's how it is around here as far as the tax thing. It don't get
Yeah,
changed until the new owner goes in and pays the
right.
tax bill, and that's when it's changed, basically. No,
You
I got no problem with that. I just was really surprised how it just shrunk it down, to such a small amount.
Yeah, when you look at, if you had a list of 300 vacants or whatever it was, and that list, as soon as you hit absentee owner, jumps down to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Those 200 vacants, the best way to market them is to actually do a skip trace
Mm-hmm.
and call them. Or
Okay.
you got to drive by, talk to the neighbor, because if you can't clean the list first, like if I put all my vacants in one campaign, regardless, and I ran it through ListMate, some of those properties are going to have a change of address.
Right.
So the post office says they still are, the tax assessor says they still live there, but the post office actually has the change of address. So you'll be able to get some marketing out that way. But the rest of them, we have to do is, either call them or talk to the neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's for everybody. That's regardless of what system you use. That's just the way that everything is run.
Yeah.
And it's kind of unfortunate that every county in the US does it different.
Mm-hmm.
Some update daily. Some might update once a week, once a month, 6 months, once a year.
Right.
It varies. Every county kind of plays by their own rules. They label properties differently at the same time, and we have to try to figure out, okay, what was that? We get better every day at it, but it's still, and it's funny, the data barely was just online when I got started.
Yeah.
We had to use the old microfiche down at the, just to find the owner.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember them days. Yeah.
so we are miles ahead than
Exactly.
when, back in the day, but God, we were doing 8 to 10 deals a month,
Goodness.
but it was a lot more legwork
Right.
of research. But if you took the time to do that, other people weren't doing it.
Yep. If I could do 2 to 3 a month, I think I would be content. I'd be happy, especially like you said in the foreclosures where you can kind of, I guess, pick and choose and make more money. And because there's a guy here in Warner Robins, actually, he's from Atlanta. He comes down here every Tuesday, and he's just totally expanded as far as like and he's not just pre-foreclosures, but it's just amazing what he's been doing here in this past year. And he says he can make more money here than he can in Atlanta as far as profit off each deal. I mean, I don't really understand that, but I mean, he makes his trip every Tuesday, and I've met with him. I mean, they meet on Tuesdays at one of the restaurants as far as investors, different people.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of times with them over there, and I'm probably going to get back into that, just to mingle with some of the investor type people.
Anything else you want to tell me before we jump into pre-foreclosures?
Not right now. I mean, I think that's it. Well, I guess yes.
Okay.
Before pre-foreclosures, which I really am excited, I want to do that, and I want to mail some more. But I only want to mail. I want to dig down like we just did. How can I increase that from 200 to 3 or 4, 500 more? Is there any way, or am I stuck? With what is that going to be my best approach? I guess the best bang for the buck, maybe.
You mean what we previously did?
Yes, sir.
Oh no, we could just hit straight absentee owners. Basically anything besides a pre-foreclosure, we don't really know what the motivation is. Do we even know they want to sell?
Right.
The only way to do that is to send marketing, call, and et cetera. But just going straight absentee owner, what I'm going to do for you is, okay, step one, let's hit the vacants that we know we're going to have a better shot of not getting return mail. There's always going to be return mail, but if we can eliminate that as much as possible, that saves us money, right?
Mm-hmm.
To do that, I threw that absentee owner flag on there to try to help prevent that. Okay. That's only one search that you're going to do each month because we update that vacant each month. We can go in and just do absentee owner.
Yes,
and
sir.
then the third one is going to be the one that we're going to talk about today. And that's going to be the pre-foreclosure. And I can show you the absentee owner as well, because there's so many different directions you can go in with absentee owners.
Okay.
Price range. We can actually target properties that don't have much equity and maybe try to approach more of a lease option or seller finance strategy.
Yep.
If we just stick with wholesaling, then we need to obviously have equity in the property to make that work.
Yep.
So there's so many different directions you can go into with absentee owners, and there's going to be way more leads than really we can mail to when we get to that point. So the first campaign I really liked, let's try to narrow this down to some flagged vacant by the post office and the tax assessor says they don't live there. Now, like I said, the remaining vacant properties that we had what's called a vacant undeliverable, we could move those to a campaign and skip trace and call those people.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ricky. I was calling about the property located. It appeared to be vacant. I was just curious to see if you'd be interested in selling it and kind of start that conversation. So that's one way. And then when we mix in the pre-foreclosures, you're going to probably have, now the pre-foreclosure list will be fairly small, but we're also going to go a bigger range area-wise on this. When you mix those three style campaigns together, you're going to be doing fine as far as how many are we getting out there. Okay. So that was just kind of one way of doing it, and I'll show you how to do.
Okay, and that makes sense. I guess that was my concern because it's such a small amount.
And the cool thing is, after we kind of do, I'll show you the absentee because there's so many ways you could go in that, and then go through the pre-foreclosure. Here's what I want you to do is, okay, let's start building a schedule of when do we do these things. So we can say, okay, hey, I do this on this day, I do this on that day type of thing.
Right.
And that's what, so after I go through the campaign, then we can talk about, A lot of that's based on budget too, right? But as soon as we start getting a couple of properties, then those lists we can make bigger.
Exactly. Exactly.
So and then you can turn it on and off at the same time. It's like, hey, I've got family members coming in next month, maybe we'll slow it down, but it's totally up to you on how.
That's perfect because that's exactly where I want to be, as far as my marketing. And I done figured out this is about marketing. I got to get out there in front of the right people.
Other thing with marketing, just being consistent.
Exactly. Yes, that's number one. Yeah.
I see so many people, it's like they'll send out some cards or letters and then they wait. And then if nothing happens, oh, this doesn't work.
And
those people don't need to be in business anyway.
Exactly where I've done that.
Hey, thanks for watching. And if you learned something new, please click that like and subscribe. It's going to help us continue to put out more training videos. Until next time, take care and happy investing.